If you are looking to read more shoujo manga, or you have never read a shoujo manga and you want to start but you're not quite sure where to start, I have 10 recommendations for you. Just a preface, shoujo manga literally translates to manga for young girls. It is a demographic. It is not a genre. So shoujo manga does not equal romance manga. Every genre you can think of happens in shoujo manga. In this list, the majority of the manga I picked out do have at least a little bit of romance in them, and that's only because I really like romance. I am biased towards a good romance story, but I did do my best to pick out a couple that either have no romance whatsoever, or romance is just something that kind of happens naturally in the background. I wouldn't even consider it to be a romance series just because there's a little bit, like two characters get together, big whoop. That's not the plot. And with that said, let's talk about these 10 manga. All of them do have official English prints, and all of them are my physicals. So if you watch the video and you don't see me talk about your favorite series, it might just be because I don't have the physical in my collection yet. But my first series is Natsume's Book of Friends. This one I think is my main recommendation, especially if you're like trying to get into shoujo manga and you don't love romance. Natsume's Book of Friends is very good. There is no romance whatsoever. And as you may see on the cover page, he is a young man. He's a high school boy. So just because it's a shoujo manga does not mean that the protagonist has to be a woman or young girl at all. They can be a boy. There's quite a few series with male protagonists, actually. Natsume's Book of Friends is a very easy to follow along series. Overall, we follow our young protagonist, Natsume, on his quest to return all of the names within his Book of Friends. So we see him meet all of these various spirits called yokai. He kind of either befriends them or he hears them out, tries to give them back their name, and he moves on. This is a very episodic series, so every chapter basically has more or less the same formula of him meeting the yokai and trying to give them their names back. However, it does get a little bit deeper than that. It isn't a shallow series at all from what I've seen so far. It does get a little bit deep. It is pretty touching. So even though it seems pretty straightforward, you will feel things when you read this, and I really like it. I recommend this one most to people new to manga because every chapter is episodic, and at the beginning of every chapter, there's a really, really short recap of what the entire series is about. If you find that annoying, just don't read that page. Just move on to the second page. But if you need a recap or you forget what happened in the previous chapter, you're not used to reading, so you're kind of nervous to get started, this is a really good one. You will not forget what happens. My next one is this one. I know I have the Japanese one, but this does have an English version with 3 volumes out right now. The English publication site is slow. This is The Failure at God School. This is another one. There is no romance. Perhaps romance will happen eventually in the series, but this is not a romance series. This is a mystery adventure series. In this one, we follow our young protagonist, Nagi, as she tries to discover what her godly powers are, and she tries to figure out what happened to her brother. So overall, mystery, coming of age, discovering yourself type of story. I really like this one because it focuses more on our protagonist finding herself, while also there's a huge ensemble of other godly students. So it is very much a school life fantasy series. I really like it. So if you're looking for a new adventure series to get started and you're not really hoping for romance to be really involved at all, this is a good one. Even if there was a bit of romance in this one, I'd be happy, as I've read the first 6 volumes. No romance yet. If there is romance, I kind of feel like I know who it'll be between. But as of right now, no romance yet. This is a very good one. I will say, though, it is a tiny bit complicated, especially if you read it in Japanese. But it is very interesting. My last one, 3 out of 10 don't really have romance, is this one. I will say it's not out in English yet, but it's so good, and it was announced it's getting in English. This will be a new Shoujo Beat one, and I just want to talk about it because I really like it. This will be called the Seaside Where Dragon Boys Dwell? No. The Seaside Where Dragon Boys Live? I'll write it down. I don't remember the English title. This one is so good. As of 2 volumes, this one only has 2 volumes out right now. There is no romance. It is very much a friendship found family story. Again, the friendship could turn into romance. I don't know what's going to happen. But as of right now, it's very much a friendship story. This series follows a young girl, she's in high school, who after losing both of her parents has to move to a coastal town with her uncle and a mysterious dragon boy. Surprise, in this coastal town, there are some dragon people. There are some like allegories of, I don't know if I should say like racism or idol worship, but the dragon people are treated very much differently from ordinary humans, and the series talks about that quite a bit. I found it to be really interesting, and we watch as our female lead slowly but surely breaks into the hearts of all the dragon people. And I say dragon people, there are more than just dragon boys. I don't love the English title, but what can you do? So if you want something a little bit more like cozy, friendly, you want to watch as a bunch of people slowly befriend the one girl who understands them, kind of. This is a very good one. I cannot stress it's a very good series, and it's beautiful. Moving on to my romances, my all-time favorite, Colette Decides to Die. It's so good. This series follows the romance between an apothecary and Lord Hades, Lord of the Underworld. I will say this series, though it is like a romantasy, I would say it's like 40% romance, 60% more so slice of life. The majority of this one, I've read most of the series. There's 21 volumes. The majority follows Colette, our female lead, doing things in the human world. Not always, but usually. She goes on an adventure. Typically, her stories are rather moving, where she interacts with other people. It's kind of inspiring, honestly. Or we're following Hades as he does things in the underworld. His stories are either usually funny or sad, one of the two. They do go to other places, like they visit each other's realms, they visit the celestial realm, but generally speaking, that's what the story follows, and it's very good. If you're looking for something to kind of like inspire you and touch you, this is a good one. It talks about the importance of hard work, which might not sound all that interesting, but it really is interesting. I really enjoy it. I think Colette is one of the more realistic female leads, and she's the kind of one you'd want to be friends with. I'd be friends with her. My next recommendation, speaking of likable female leads, is Fruits Basket. This series follows our young female protagonist. She's in high school, Toru, after she becomes homeless. She is then taken in by one of her classmates' families, where she discovers the shocking secret. Some of them are cursed to turn into animals of the zodiac under certain circumstances. And from there, she gets to know them all. This one is more so a slice of life that can get really depressing, but it's also lighthearted at times too. This one will make you feel a lot of things, and I am really enjoying it. I have not finished Fruits Basket yet. Just I know it goes places. I know it gets sad. This one is more so about like being kind and understanding will like help you even through the worst of times kind of story. Again, Toru, just like Colette, is somebody everybody should be friends with. Keeping things more supernatural before we move on to other ones is Kamisama Kiss. This one, just like The Failure at God School, talks about more godly things, but they are nothing alike whatsoever. Kamisama Kiss follows our protagonist, Nanami, after she becomes homeless. That's kind of a theme. And is gifted ownership, or like godly ownership, of a small shrine. She then has to tackle both being the literal god of a shrine and being a high school student. This one is a slow burn, kind of enemies to lovers series. It is very supernatural. This one's very fun. Compared to The Failure at God School, Kamisama Kiss is much more about like Japanese folklore. Well, Kamisama Kiss is purely just, they have godly powers. This one, if you're interested in Japanese folklore, I highly recommend Kamisama Kiss. Moving on to something a little bit darker, because not all shoujo manga are lighthearted. We have Rosen Blood. This one is probably one I think one of, not, I don't know if it's my most beautiful, but this is one of my most beautiful series in my collection, and it does have an English. Rosen Blood is a dark romance. It's very gothic. It's not very happy. This series is about 4 kind of brother, but not really, vampires after they forcibly take in our female lead. She is forced to work for them as a maid while they do vampire stuff. There isn't like the biggest plot, and it is a little bit confusing at times, but if you like pretty art, if you like vampire stories, and if you like mysteries, I would recommend this. Because it is a little bit confusing, the mystery gets a little bit messy, but by the end of it, everything comes back into place. Even though it was confusing, I enjoyed every single volume, and it's only 5 volumes. There is kind of a love triangle. There is definitely romance, and there is kind of a love triangle. However, again, it's very dark. So if you're looking for a happy romance where everybody is all smiles and sunshine, this is not that. If you want a more dark, tortured kind of romance, this is that. Staying with the kind of dark and tortured ones. And that's Firefly Wedding. Do not look this one up too much because you will get spoiled. And please don't comment any spoilers. Firefly Wedding is a historical, aristocratic, very, very toxic romance. This series follows our young female lead who is about at the age where she could get married. And one day she gets kidnapped and brought to a very far away island. From there, she meets the man who would have been her demise, but she proposes to him, literally, and he ends up saving her. And the two of them have to work together to first help her get off the island, and then second, who knows? The series, his name is Shinpei, is probably the most crazy, if I think about it, romance or love interest in basically anything I've read. He is crazy, but he's also crazy for the female lead. So like it kind of works out. So if you like incredibly toxic romance series, because I do, this is a very good one. It is very entertaining. It does get a little bit dark, but that just makes it more interesting to me because there's always a lot of drama happening. Speaking of toxic romances, but on a lower level, my next recommendation is Stomp, Kick, Love. In the series, both protagonists are roughly 30. So even though something is targeted towards young women, sometimes the main characters can be a bit older. Not usually, but they can be. This one is a toxic, but not as toxic romance between a very put together office worker and a playboy. They have a very fun, like bantery relationship, and sometimes they love each other, sometimes they hate each other, thus Stomp, Kick, Love, and it's very interesting. The majority of the time they spend together is in a bar. So if you like that kind of dark, like not even clubbing, but like the bar setting, this is for you. If you enjoy good banter and you want a romance that's not straightforward, that's not fluffy, but a little bit slightly, I would say, grimier, but not all that grimy. This one's a good one. I don't know if I'm doing a good job recommending it. I really like this one. There's 6 volumes out right now in Japanese, and it's still ongoing. Obviously, it's still ongoing in English too, but this is a really good one. Though it updates a little bit slowly. I really want to continue it. This one also, I will say, even though it's a romance, they're not a couple. Like it's messy. You have to be okay with mess. And my last recommendation, I'm trying to end it on a more positive, happy note, is this one, which is called Love, That's an Understatement. There's at least 3 volumes published in Japanese, or in English right now. There's 8 volumes in Japanese. This one is one of my favorites. This is my second favorite shoujo series. I love it so much. This one is a delinquent high school romance series where we follow the romance between a very put together girl who can do literally anything she needs to by herself. She's very studious. She always has everything she needs on her. And the delinquent who is her boyfriend. And although they're very much opposites, somehow they just work together. And we follow as they try and kind of show each other into their worlds. So she tries to help him with studying and he tries to help her learn like it's okay to depend on others, like I'll always be here for you, and it's really cute. This one also, like, even as I'm describing it, I'm thinking I'm not doing a good job, because even though it is such a good, like, lovely series, the premise doesn't really sound all that intriguing. This is the kind of series you really have to like look at to understand the magic. I don't know how the author did it, but she did it. It's very good. The romance written in this one, romance is the moving factor by far. The romance in it is very, very well written. It's not really slow burn because they get together pretty quickly, but we watch them as their relationship grows throughout the series, and it's just so nice. And those are my 10 recommendations. Again, most of them are romance. That's just because I really like romance manga. If you have a recommendation to shoujo manga, please let me know. Again, there are so many good ones that I couldn't include because I don't physically own them, like Yona of the Dawn, Kimi ni Todoke. Maybe I'll do another recommendation of my digitals. But yeah, I have to buy them. Oh, and there's Blue Spring Ride too. Oh, I have so much to buy.